Hello, everyone. Hello, welcome to Global Government News. Today is July 15th, 2010, and I am Darko. I'll be doing this a new type of video called News Blitz, and I'm just going to cover 1 minute per article. This is Congress approves sweeping Wall Street reforms. That's right, overhaul, like Obama hitting the reset button with the Russians. It says Congress on Thursday passed the stiffest restriction on banks and Wall Street since the Great Depression, clamping down on lending practices and expanding consumer protections to prevent a repeat of the 2008 meltdown that knocked the economy to its knees. No, it wasn't the removal of the Glass-Steagall Act or the unlimited derivatives bubble and people like Goldman Sachs profiting off of this. But this over 2,000-page law will give the government new powers to break up companies that threaten the economy. You're a threat to the economy, right? So this is a typical fascist, corporatist-style bill that does help the bankers. Everybody thinks it's going to harm them, like the cap-and-trade bill is going to harm gas companies and utility companies. No, it's going to help them, just like the healthcare bill helped insurance companies, you morons. I'm sorry, but I have to say it. And this bill is going to help the banks, just like the 2008 meltdown that was caused by the banks, and they actually made a lot of money off of it. And see, the dumbasses actually had to pay all the money to bail them out, so they got paid to steal your fucking money. And so pardon my French, but just like WAMU, who was a totally solvent company, see, they got all of their the government came and bought them out, and they went bye-bye. They were shut down because the Federal Reserve got a lot more power, a dictatorial powers last year because of this hijacking in 2008. So they just got more power for it, and now the government can shut down who they want. So they'll pump money into dying zombie banks, but they'll kill solvent banks. Moving on to another economic article from the AP, homes lost to foreclosure on track for 1 million in 2010. Los Angeles, more than 1 million American households are likely to lose their homes to foreclosure this year as lenders work their way through a huge backlog of borrowers who have fallen behind on their loans. Nearly 528,000, a half a million, were taken over by lenders in the first 6 months of the year, a rate that is on track to eclipse the more than 900,000 homes repossessed in 2009, according to data released Thursday by RealtyTrac, a foreclosure listing service. The surge in home repossessions reflect the dynamic of a foreclosure crisis that has shown signs of leveling off in recent months, but remains a crippling drag on the housing market. This article is titled Fears Grow as Millions Lose Jobless Benefits. Deborah Coleman lost her unemployment benefits in April and now fears for millions of others if the Senate does not extend aid for the jobless. And it basically is a bunch of stories from people around the world who have either run out of their unemployment benefits or whatnot, and 3 million cut off in 2 months. And there's a lot of people out there, like my friends in that are tradesmen who, when construction basically shut down in 2008, have been out of work for almost 2 years now. So much needed benefits, but of course they're going to play politics with it, and they're going to say, oh, you need to see, instead of just writing a bill that will allow their benefits to increase and doing that solely by itself, their strategy, and this is Republicans and Democrats because they are both controlled by the same power ruling elite, and their strategy is to get this humongous homogenized bill and then shove something in there like unemployment benefits, which I know people are probably the only thing that they're really interested in, and that they really need, and they dangle that out in front of them in order for them to take the bait, which is the same amount of spending that goes down the black hole to these banks, and of course the military-industrial complex, which is pharmaceutical, which is defense contractors, and banking. And I saw this article today, posted July 15th, and how jobless aid became dysfunctional from World News, U.S. News, globalist propaganda. I consider it because basically what they're trying to convince you in this article is that fascism is great, gutting social problems is a good way to cut back the deficit, something that, like I said in a previous video, you have no responsibility for. They're taking money that doesn't exist and they're spending it before people who are even born yet can pay for it in taxes. So it's just a big, basically the biggest Ponzi scheme and fraud ever known to man. And so here they're trying to tell you that you're like a little child and you need discipline. And it says, you go through here, and it's basically saying that, well, Americans are spoiled, and socialism has spoiled them, and we don't have the money for the jobless benefits. But, that's what I said. That's why, down here it talks about Keynesian model. Well, yeah, we're fascists, and they hold on to this kind of fiat currency, big government, big corporations, bankers run around running everything type system. And so it says, but that traditional Keynesian view also requires the government to rein in spending when things improve and pay off its debt. That part we don't believe in so much anymore. And so let's see what it says on here. It says, and see, when you read this paragraph here, it says President Obama and Democrats in Congress favor another extension of benefits, which would ease the misery of some 2 million people who would have been employed so long that they have exhausted the 26 weeks of benefits available in most states, plus various extensions. With unemployment at a shockingly high 9.5%, no, it's actually around 20%, that only seems humane. Well, no, Republicans, they're not conservatives. They're both fascists, right? Democrats, they're kind of more communists, and Republicans are more fascist. But either way, they're both globalist people who don't really give a shit about you. They do believe in government, they do believe in taxing, and they do believe in having a Federal Reserve System and phony, fraudulent wars. So they pump more money down the black hole that I was just talking about. But they're basically making you think that Republicans don't give a shit about the unemployed. Well, no, they do. They're just trying to say, well, why don't we just cut back on something else instead, and then we can still, issue these unemployment benefits. But they don't want to do that. They don't want to stop the wars, and they don't want to stop all the other spending, the wasteful spending. No, they want to play politics, which is exactly what they're doing. The next article is from the Associated Press as well, and it's titled Chevy Volt will carry 8-year battery warranty. It says GM has guaranteed the battery in its Chevrolet Volt electric car for 8 years or 100,000 miles in its effort to inspire confidence in the new technology. The guarantee is better than warranties on GM's conventional car engines and transmissions, which are 5 or 100,000 miles. And I recommend checking out Who Killed the Electric Car if you haven't seen it. It's an older documentary. But it basically was talking about they had the engineer who engineered a battery for GM, and I believe it was at least 40 miles. It could have been up to 200 miles though. If someone knows the exact number to that, please leave it in the comment board whether it's 200 miles or not. But yeah, they've had this battery around for at least 10 years now. But the powers that be, for whatever reason, including GM, they don't want this battery out, and they don't want this electric car going to hit the market and be available at a decent cost. But I just thought it was some positive news that I should share. This news article is titled "Are You FBI Material?" and this was on the Yahoo Education Board, and it says the modern-day FBI is looking for candidates with some surprising backgrounds. And it says, ever since Jimmy Cagney played an agent in 1935 feature film G-Men, the public's imagination has been captured by the FBI. Since then, iconic figures like Clarice Starling in Silence of the Lambs and Mulder in Scully in the X-Files have only stoked those fires. That's right. People have been brainwashed and think that the police are just the best things since sliced bread and CSIs and it's forensics and DNA and all that good stuff, and so the slaves love it, and go be an FBI agent. This was posted 2 days ago or yesterday, and it says North Iowa Tea Party, a billboard ordered and paid for by the North Iowa Tea Party, shows President Barack Obama, Adolf Hitler left, and Vladimir Lenin on South Federal Avenue in Mason City, Iowa. And National Socialism, Democrat socialism, Marxist socialism. But this is right, though. They all promised change, just like Mussolini. He should have been up there, too. But the main point was that it was removed. Hi-yo, America. Police overreacting, saying cans and wires in New Jersey car. It's not a bomb, but it was worth all the police. Thank you.